Hello and welcome back to Creating a Studio Together. It is Friday, March 19th, 2021, and it is our 10th day of working on a studio together. I'm yet in another studio today. Here I am in the Tabor Art Studio. I had a lot of technical issues at home with recording and computer stuff in the last day, so I'm here happening right now, Friday the 19th, here in the studio. So welcome back. It's been quite a week. A snowstorm, cold, sun, time change. Lots and lots has happened this week. And I'm sure a lot has happened in your lives since we last met last week. So welcome back. Last week we were talking about fear. And so I challenged you to take 5 Post-its or 5 notes and to create fears or positive things about yourself. Now, a few weeks ago, I wrote on a Post-it, you are you are endlessly creative. And so I decided to go the version of fear this time. So some of my fears, and they're pretty big when I sit and think about them, when I have a moment to think about them. If you're running out of time, boy, is that ever so true as time goes faster and faster and faster all of the time. I fear running out of time for everything I want to do. I fear not being there for others. Boy, the weeks go fast and I realize I just can't do enough. And I'm stretched to the limit, which I'm sure you find as well. I feel a loss of self, like I fear losing myself. And art can be a great place to lose yourself in, but that's not the kind of loss of self I fear. Like losing that ability to connect with myself and to know who I am and what I want. So that's really important to hold on to. And then loss of hope, like, am I losing hope in all of this? This pandemic has been extremely hard. It's been hard on all of us. And there's been a lot of loss of hope. You give up sometimes. You think it's going to be this way forever. Or there's so much loss and so much grief, you just think it's just not worth it. And you lose that hope. So I want to try to hold on to those things. Hold on to myself. Hold on to hope. Hold on to the time. And there's enough time. Remember, I first started, I think, in the beginning, I started by sharing Brian Andreas's quote from his Story People characters. Everything changed the day she figured out there was enough time for everything she loved. So if I figure out there's just enough time for everything I love, and put away the paperwork and the nonsense and the cleaning and everything else that has to be done and piles up, then maybe there'd be a little bit of time for those things that I want to focus on. And I've got to make time for those because this is my life. I'm the one steering it, right? I'm the driver. And we forget that. We forget that this is our time and our studio and our passions are really important. So this time and this space today is going to be about focusing on that. And I often buy these books, and one of the books I buy, self-help books and all kinds of other books, one of the books I've bought in the last few years is called Sitting Still Like a Frog. Now, it's a great concept. It's a meditation book for children, has a CD. It's very, very, very wordy, and I have never made the time to read it, but I like that idea, sitting still like a frog. So in the CD work, the leader, the instructor, the writer, talks about if we sit still like a frog, we pay attention to our own breath, we pay attention to the sounds and the things happening around us, and we're patient because frogs are really patient. They can sit on a lily pad or on a reed or wherever they're sitting on the bank of a pond all day long. They can just sit there and they take everything in. And so, while I haven't read the book and I don't use it much in practice, I want to use that concept today, that sitting still like a frog, because here we are. It's Friday the 19th. Last week it was Friday the 12th, and I can remember sitting here in front of the camera talking with you on the 12th and thinking, gosh, how's it Friday again? And here we are again. How is it Friday again? This time is just flying by. It's flying by for me. I don't know if time moves like that for you, but I always think that in the wintertime and maybe during a pandemic, things will slow down a little bit. Things will get easier, or things will just take their time, or things may even become boring. And what I have found is time is not slowing down, whether it's winter or spring or summer or fall. And time is not standing still during a pandemic. We can't see the people that we love and want to be with, but time just doesn't slow down. It's not slowing down for anyone or anything. And so here we are. The week has just rushed by again. I haven't had time to think or process anything this week. And I don't know if it's the time change or what, but I'm exhausted. Are you exhausted too? Like, I am physically worn out. I am tired. I didn't make time for art this week. I probably did some art. I can't remember. But I want to be really intentional because we have 1 week together in our studio. And next week I will be in my little home studio. And I hope that you have taken some time to carve out that space for you. And I've been thinking about that, like, how much time do I spend in that tiny studio? And I don't spend much time at all. I gravitate to a different space in my house for art making so I can sit comfortably and prop my feet up sometimes. But my intention for the next week is to work in that tiny studio, to see how it really works for me, to see if I can make some art, to see if I can make something come alive out of that space, and to see if I can sit still like a frog. Can I sit still long enough to hear what's going on inside of me, to make something come out of me, to make some art to go into that space, and to not have another week just fly by and me not be the driver. I'm just the passenger in the back seat as time is whipping by. So how do I take control? How do I slow down time? How do I be intentional? Because while we can't stop time, I think we can make more of our time, make maybe better choices, maybe better choices for ourselves. Like, I'm going to make time for me. How am I going to make that happen? I can't slow this time, but how am I going to make that happen? So I'm going to try to create a list of 5 things right now, out loud, spontaneously, of how I can make that happen. And maybe you can do that as well. So think of 5 things that you can do for yourself in the coming week to make time for you, make time for your art, but make time for your health and your life, okay? So let's see, one thing I can do. I could set a bedtime, because I'm just all over the place in my bedtimes, and I could go to bed I feel like I could go to bed at 8 o'clock at night, and I'd still be exhausted the next day. So I'm going to set a bedtime, and I'm going to make it realistic. I'm going to say 11 o'clock, because I like to stay up really late, and yet I'd like to go to bed really early. So I'm going to say 11 o'clock and see if I can stick to that. I'm also going to set a wake-up time, because I'm finding that I keep hitting my snooze button every day. So first, I'm going to set my bedtime, 11. I'm going to set my wake-up time at 6. Now, 7 hours isn't much sleep, but I'm just going to see for the next week, can I stick to that? Can I make that happen? And if I get in bed earlier than 11, I'll get more sleep. But I want to try to get up at 6, so I'm not wasting a bunch of time in the morning and then rushed to get everywhere I need to get by 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, the next thing, I'm going to take 10 minutes a day, and I'm going to use that metaphor of sitting still like a frog. 10 minutes a day to sit still like a frog in my studio. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, I'm going to bring in a comfortable chair for my studio, because right now I have a very hard plastic chair, which works great for some things. It's a school chair, like a high school chair. I'm going to bring in something a little more comfortable, so that when I'm sitting still like a frog, I have something comfortable that I can sit on. And number 5, I'm going to make the intention to do 1 piece of art this week. That's it. I'm going to do 1 piece of art. So those are my 5. Set a bedtime, set a wake-up time, try to stick to it. 3, sit still like a frog for 10 minutes a day, taking in, paying attention, breathing, being aware of myself and my body and the space that I'm in. 4, a better chair. I'm going to sit in a chair that makes me comfortable so that I can focus on sitting still like a frog and really practice that meditation. And then 5, 1 piece of art. Okay, so what are your 5 goals for this week? Knowing that next Friday, the 26th, is our last day of creating a studio together. My hope is that maybe next Friday I'll be able to share a few images from different studios throughout Oakwood. I'm hoping that that's the case. Maybe I'll even show you the Oak Studio, and I'll show you the Tabor Art Studio, and then I'll show you some resident studios as well. So that's the hope. If I can get that technology working for us, I will do that. Okay, so set your 5 goals, and we will be back here next week. Have a great week.